supposedly it's kind of a pretend 18th century Eastern Europe. They all speak Yiddish. Most of the community has no access to any form of television, radio shows, movies, internet. Pretty much everything that's cultural from the outside world doesn't exist, or they're trying to make sure that it doesn't enter in the community. I grew up in Williamsburg in Brooklyn, New York, which while it's geographically part of New York City, when it comes to gender, they're as segregated as possible, to the extent that sometimes first cousins from being raised as boys and girls wouldn't even socialize with each other. Most people go to the religious schools, or the private education system that they have, where you go pretty much from when you're 3 until around the time you get married, which is when you're around 18. Most people get engaged and married when you're between 17 and 20. It's all arranged marriages, so the couple doesn't even meet each other before it's almost a done deal, so to speak. You don't really know anything else. And people ask me that a lot, of like, you knew your identity, why did you agree to get married? It wasn't really about agreeing. And I'm not saying it was forced. At that point, I wanted it because it's all you know. It's like what you're being told from early on, that this is your goal in life. It's like to get married and have more kids. Personally, for me, I don't have a memory of me at all that is like, oh, you were a boy and that's it. Never ever. Since I remember myself, my earliest memories, it's like, hey, I'm a girl, why does everyone else think that I'm a boy? And I learned very early on that it's not something that I can ever talk about. And until I was 20, I was pretty much convinced I'm the only person in the universe that has feelings like these. So I pretty much went with the flow, so to speak, in the community. I was a fairly good student. When I got to yeshiva, which is like every teenager when you turn around 13, 14, goes to rabbinic, it's not rabbinical school, it's kind of a seminary. But personally, I placed myself on a track to become a rabbi, which I did in 2011. And a big part of that was I need to find something else. I need to find something that's going on with my identity. By the time I left the community when I was 21, I left because I didn't believe in it. I always say that to some extent, leaving my community was very similar to transitioning gender-wise. When you leave the Hasidic community, it's like leaving a cult in every sense of the word. You don't know the language, you don't know any social norms. You don't know, forget about walking up and talking to the opposite gender like that you want to go on a date with. Just standard social norms of how to stand in a line. Like the first time I walked into Starbucks, I didn't know what to do. You get confused. You don't know anything. There's the executive director of Footsteps. So Footsteps is an organization that helps people who are leaving ultra-Orthodoxy. And she always says that leaving the Hasidic community or leaving the ultra-Orthodox community is like immigrating, like being an immigrant, but in your own country. So I came out to my father in November of 2015. His reaction was pretty much out of your mind, and I'm never going to talk to you ever again. My family's pretty much the only thing that I miss from the Hasidic community. I don't miss the community at all. I have a lot of friends. I have a really nice community where I live. I'm really happy where my life is right now. So when I came out publicly, one of the first things that I decided is that I have an opportunity now to help people. Help them with awareness and help them with logistical support and so on. I started a Facebook support group, and then we also had an in-person meetup. We had our first in-person meetup of transgender people who grew up ultra-Orthodox in New York, and we had 12 people showing up in December of 2015. I have since had over 40 people reaching out from within the ultra-Orthodox community who are going through a similar experience. I'm refusing to shut up. And that is something that I will continue to do until the day that when someone comes out as transgender would be the same thing as someone coming out and saying that they like watermelon more than cancer.